Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so we've been covering Document Gate, Mar-a-Lago Gate, whatever you want to call it, Joe Biden's DOJ's indictment of former President Donald Trump, charging him with violating the Espionage Act, a completely archaic, bogus law that wasn't used or taken seriously for decades until the Obama administration decided to resurrect it. A bogus act that seems that its only use is really to go after whistleblowers to shut them up. The first video that I recorded focused mostly on optics, the idea of turning Donald Trump into a political martyr, or at least more than he already is. This time, we have the actual indictment. We have the document. And you show up on Twitter and what do you read? Read the indictment. It's damning, irrefutable evidence of espionage. That's what the leftoids are telling you, that it's game over for Donald Trump. The indictment is serious, it's irrefutable. Donald Trump is going down. And after reading the indictment, not all of it, and especially all the key parts, well, I get how it's meant to invoke a certain emotion, it's meant to make it sound really serious, but it's not. And I'll show you guys exactly what I mean by that, at least from my perspective. Nothing changes after the release of this indictment. After reading through the whole damn thing, we've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so apparently the indictment has dropped and supposedly there's evidence that Donald Trump is a criminal, he's a spy, and anyone defending him is a Trump loyalist and a traitor. What most people are focused on is the transcript. The most damning evidence that's being presented is supposedly a taped conversation between Donald Trump and a Trump staffer. Not exactly sure why he was being taped, but the transcript reads as follows: "Secret. This is secret information. Look at this. You attack, and by the way, isn't that incredible? Yeah, I was thinking because we were talking about it, and you know, he said he wanted to attack country A, and what? You did. This was done by the military and given to me. I think we can probably, right? Yeah, we'll have to try to declassify it. Figure out, yeah. See, as president, I could have declassified it. Yeah. Now I can't, you know? But this is still a secret. Yeah. Now we have a problem. Isn't that interesting? At the time of this exchange, the writer, the publisher, and Trump's two staffers did not have security clearances or any need to know any classified information about a plan of attack on country A. And supposedly this is the big smoking gun. While the words themselves seem like evidence, I'm not sure that Donald Trump actually showed anybody the classified document. It seems like he held it in his hand, he was talking about it, the context of it, then going on to say that he'd have to declassify it, but he can't if they were to get into it. It seems as if he had hesitancy. Now I can't, you know, but it's still a secret. I don't know if this is evidence outside of Donald Trump speaking about the document, the general scope of it making a point that the military wanted to attack a certain country and they were sending him these documents. Maybe he was trying to make a point that warmongers at the Pentagon were constantly requesting from his office permission to escalate conflict abroad. It's hard to say really what the topic of conversation was, but without the full scope, without being there, without video evidence, I'm not sure he actually showed the document. It seemed as though he was hesitant to show the document. That transcript and this supposed recorded conversation is the most damning supposed evidence presented. It's far from conclusive, and even if it were conclusive, I still have issues with this. At the end of the day, I still think there's no merit to this case whatsoever. You know, it's an issue of authority. The Presidential Records Act states unequivocally that records and documents related to the president during his time in office solely belong to the president. These are Trump's records. These are records which he as president had ultimate authority to keep, declassify, and do as he willed as president of the United States. But it seems there's an argument from people working in the government that they're the highest authority over these documents and that President Donald Trump is somehow below and stole them from the government's possession and is now violating an espionage law in relation to their documents. It seems fundamentally backwards. That seems to apply to Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton, but in the case of Donald Trump being the ultimate authority, the president of the United States, these being his documents, the accusations or the framing of this legal case seems to make absolutely no sense whatsoever. At least that's my interpretation. And again, there's no actual evidence of Donald Trump showing these documents to anyone. The only supposed evidence so far suggests that he was talking to somebody about the documents. The idea that any prosecutor would be pursuing this case seems totally politically motivated. The entire thing seemed like a stitch-up, like a setup, like it was written in stone before any action was taken. I mean, even from the perspective of NARA, here's a great point that Jason Chaffetz makes on Fox News.
In some of these documents, and they make a big deal about Donald Trump asking questions of his attorney. You're allowed to ask questions of your attorney.
Really?
There's not a crime for doing that.
But the whole National Archives business, the record-keeping business.
Yes.
That's just...
Here's a really important point. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. These are documents that are generated by computers. There is an argument to be said. They already have these documents. These are photocopies. They're run off of a printer. We didn't take extra. It's not the only copy. We have extra copy. The president has the same security clearance as he did as president of the United States.
Right, that's so key.
It is. He continues to have that security clearance. Guess who didn't have those same types of security clearances? The vice president.
That's right.
It wasn't.
The initial issue was that NARA wanted the documents in their archives. Well, they already had the documents. Why were they so zealous to go after Donald Trump over these documents? Why were they initially okay with him keeping his documents in his possession, and then all of a sudden, everything changed after Joe Biden's infamous request giving them the green light to go after Donald Trump? Well, the answer is obviously politically motivated. It's election interference. Simple as that. There is so much misinformation and so much misrepresentation, and clearly that's the aim here. I mean, just take a look at what Democrats are doing. Eric Swalwell posts this photo, supposedly a bathroom in Mar-a-Lago. These are the secrets that protect our troops, and Kevin McCarthy thinks it's perfectly okay that Donald Trump stole and stored them like this. This is fake news. This is partisan hackery. Eric Swalwell is trying to paint a narrative that these are classified documents stored next to a toilet bowl at Mar-a-Lago. You're probably seeing a lot of pictures like this as well, just documents in boxes scattered across his home. These photos, of course, are being used for dramatic effect, just like the transcript of the supposed recorded conversation is meant to invoke a similar type of emotion, but the reality is this. Documents has approximately 11,000 based on its review of the government's property inventory. The government has since submitted a revised property inventory and its DE 116-1, and it estimated a total of 13,000 documents based on that inventory. After the Mar-a-Lago raid, the DOJ took 13,000 documents from Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Those are the documents that you see in those photos, boxes and boxes and boxes of Donald Trump's personal presidential records. But Eric Swalwell is claiming that Donald Trump was storing classified documents next to his toilet bowl. The reality is that in Trump's office and Trump's storage room, out of all the 13,000 documents retrieved, or frankly stolen by Biden's DOJ, only 102 were actually marked as top secret, secret, or confidential, as you can see from their filing right over here. None of them were in Donald Trump's bathroom. They were locked away, secured, hidden, of course, which is known by the National Archives and Records Administration. They literally helped him store them, and they were protected by Secret Service. Nothing changes after the release of this indictment, absolutely nothing. My opinion remains unchanged. Donald Trump, as President of the United States, is the ultimate authority on these documents. These are his documents, not the government's. These clowns in the government that I believe are currently power tripping, trying to send a message that they're the ultimate authority. I think they have the chain of command structure a little bit frickin' twisted. There is no evidence of destruction of classified materials. There is no evidence of espionage. There's even no evidence that Donald Trump showed these documents to anybody. This prosecution is yet again a political persecution to add on to the list of hoaxes and witch hunts. What Donald Trump is supposedly guilty of, Joe Biden is actually guilty of, Hillary Clinton is actually guilty of. If Donald Trump's name wasn't Donald Trump, you would have never even heard a word about classified materials. It's a stitch-up, it's a setup, and everybody knows it. Even some of Trump's most vocal critics can admit that this entire thing is political. And again, final conclusion, Donald Trump didn't steal documents. Biden's DOJ stole Trump's documents. That's my perspective. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.